If you pop down to the Westfield shopping mall in London's Shepherd's Bush, you might notice that among the shops selling shoes, soap and knickers, there's one that sells cars. This is the Tesla showroom, and that is the Tesla Model S. A 416 horsepower motor, a huge battery pack. This is the electric car with world-beating range and breathtaking performance. As I discovered a few weeks ago, my first test drive in a Tesla Model S.
But is it on at the moment? I can't even tell it because everything's on.
Running straight away. Yeah.
It's running straight away.
Of course. So you've got your gear lever here on the side, and as you've done there, you've put it in the foot, and the brake has changed your screen around there.
Right, it did. It flipped that round. So if I go to D,
there's a couple of descents there, and you can go up into neutral and into reverse. That does
neutral,
all
reverse,
sections.
and then presumably with reverse, does that do?
Camera pop straight up.
You can see a picture of a
course
bush.
It does. Obviously, this car is hopefully going to be a little bit faster than most of the other EVs you've driven in. Traction control is really good on it.
Right.
So if you want to make use of the power, feel free to, and you should be able to just keep your foot on the acceleration. It will squirm a little bit, but then it's very, very good, and it will find its way.
So that is, oh Jesus Christ!
Come on,
oh my God, no, I'm just bloody terrified. I honestly, I wasn't flooring it.
Stamp on it next time, yeah. There we go. But a warning for the neck would be nice next time.
That is, oh sorry, sorry. Oh, and there's a horse. But that is phenomenal. That is, I mean, because obviously the Roadster was one of the first electric cars I drove, and that was, you know, the acceleration in that. But you were kind of expecting it because it's a sports car and it was low, and
you don't miss out on much in terms of performance with this.
No, that is really impressive, isn't it?
It's more unexpected as well, isn't it? Of course.
Yeah, you don't expect
it. Car.
No. Yeah.
7 seats potentially with the 2 kids in the back. You can have 5 of us in here, and
that is extraordinary. It really is. I've got to do a bit of serious regen down the hill. This is my regen hill. Oh, 30 kilowatts. That's actually nicely set up too, because it's not too brutal, but you can really feel it. So you could increase it to from what it's doing now. I'm doing 48 now, and now I'm doing 60. Jesus Christ, that's just terrifying. That is so quick.
That is so quick again.
Yeah, sorry.
Need a pillow or something.
That is so insanely rapid. Because is this one? What kilowatt hour battery is this?
So we're in the 85.
It is the 85 kilowatt. Right.
This is the performance version.
Right.
So it's not the top spec in terms it hasn't got the plus pack on it. It's handling. But still, as we go around some corners and roundabouts sideways, if you wish.
Let's not. Oh! You see, I would never dream of doing that. Indicator, not cruise control. I mean, the acceleration is breathtaking, but actually this, just cruising along like this, it's such a comfortable car. I could have a lovely audio book on, or, you know, nice conversation with someone, and it's not stressful. I'm not worried about, I'm not looking at range, because I'm thinking, I think it's got enough.
Well, I have the opposite now of range anxiety.
Right.
To be honest, I get in this car most of the time and I don't even look at what it's got in it because I know it's going to have that range.
Yeah.
And it's caught me out once or twice.
Right, so when you
really
haven't looked
at it at all.
and then you suddenly go, oh,
yes,
10 miles, damn. Well, which is much more like the petrol, fossil fuel experience, is that you don't bother with it. You're not looking at your gauge all the time, are you? And then you run out. God, I've just realised that's the first time I've touched the brake since we started.
Yes.
Wow. There you go. Oh, Jesus.
Are we allowed to say how fast you went?
I don't think we should. I didn't even look. My eyes were just a blur. It was the gravity pushing my eyes around the side of my head. Sir, don't push the pedal all the way down. I have never driven an electric car and tried to do it. Because I feel really rubbish at doing Crichton impressions. Chris Barry's brilliant at it. Rob Brydon, brilliant. He does it much better than I do. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lordy. My dad, please. I'm more important. Mr. Kia behind us. He went, oh, Jesus, my God! Whoa!
There we go.
Wow, that is brutal. That is 25 miles an hour faster than I would go roundabout in a normal, like a normal human being should. I mean, I actually felt that in my stomach. The G-force was, yeah. Well, I guess you're used to it, but I'm really impressed with that. That is the climb. Basically, the climb up to 80 is a blur of numbers when it's where it's counting the numbers. It can't refresh fast enough. Oh, I can't. Oh, that's just. I know that is absolutely chicken driver. Absolutely. The car's going. Why are you having a problem, sir? We're just going around a corner. It's like, no, I can't take it. Maximum speed 30. There we go. We're only doing 65. Jeez. Sorry, I'll have to beat that. Really gone off the scale coming up the hill, hasn't it? It has actually literally gone off the scale.
A few weeks later, I was fortunate enough to be loaned a Tesla Model S 85 Plus Performance. It's quite a big car, so I gave it the whole garage. After a long drive the day before, I plugged it in overnight.
So this car is the top of the range Tesla Model S. It has an 85 kilowatt hour battery. I have driven 138 miles in it, and it's used 54.1 kilowatt hours at 307 watt hours a mile. There you go. That's the kind of information I've got in front of me. I think it's safe to say I would dearly love one of these cars. And I'm really interested in it, not so much for the actual car itself, which is nothing short of fantastic. The performance, the road holding, the stability, the ease of use, the fact that there's so many little things about it that aren't like, there's no precedent for. Like there's no handbrake, there's no button to press to get it to work. You have the key in your pocket, you walk up to the car, it opens, you get in, you put your foot on the brake, you put it in drive, and it'll go. You don't have to start it up or do anything like that. It's just on straight away, and it's on in a matter of seconds. I mean, I don't know, less than a second, because it instantly just works. It is just an extraordinary vehicle. It's not worried about what happened in the past. It's not worried about how people used to make cars. It's making it in a completely different way. It does go. This one, I am very scared of its performance, because it is very, very powerful, fast car. It is actually governed, this one, to not go above 85 miles an hour, which, let's face it, is 15 miles an hour faster than the British speed limit. So it's not exactly holding you back. Now, the road holding around this corner is beyond. You can hear everything sliding about in the car. It's my coat and bags in the back. Okay, so now we're behind this car. We're doing 43 when it's absolutely certain and clear. Now, oh my God, here we go. When I do that, it is using a phenomenal amount of electricity. Can't tell instantly what it's using. I'm going to slow it right down. So now it's not using any. I'm now doing 70 miles an hour, and it's actually slightly green. I'm maintaining 70 miles an hour. So once it gets going, it's got such amazing momentum. It's so streamlined that it just goes really, really easily. Quite a lot of people have asked if I look at the big control panel while I'm driving, and I do glance at it every now and then, but it really isn't distracting. My vision is here on the dashboard in front of me, or out of the windscreen. That's where I'm looking most of the time. Effectively, what you're seeing is the hills and dips that I'm going along on the motorway in sort of graphical form. And if I go faster, obviously the energy use goes up. So I'm climbing a hill. I've just been going down a hill, and now you can see I'm going up a hill again. So I'm using slightly more energy, and I'm maintaining just fractionally above the British speed limit. What I'm trying to do is to join the dotted line which says average 387 miles, of the average miles per charge, to the central line, which is where you want to get it to. If you're driving economically, you want to get the dotted line that's just above the central line. You
want to get that dotted line really low. The way I've really thought about it since I've been driving is I've been checking out other cars on the road that would be of an equivalent price. So these are like 50, 60,000 pounds plus. And I had to look up cars to see what sort of car you can get for 50 or 60,000 quid. And it is like top of the range BMWs, top of the range Jaguars, top of the range Mercedes, that sort of area, those flash big cars with massive exhaust pipes that have really, really poor MPG, produce enormous amounts of CO2. Really the very worst cars. Not that many of them, but they're very, very polluting individually. And the people who can afford those can easily afford one of these. I just think it would be fabulous if, imagine if a banker that got a huge bonus, like they do all the time, if instead of buying a Maserati or a Ferrari or a Tosser's Porsche or something like that, they bought one of these, I'd take my hat off to them. Obviously they'd own the hat and they'd be loaning it to me because they own everything. Just then, as I was talking just then, a very posh Mercedes went past and the guy nearly crashed because he was looking at this. So he obviously did recognise it, because most people don't look twice at this car when they just see big flash car, you know, driven by a Tosser. That would be their normal thought. I plugged this in overnight last night to a 32 amp outlet, and that took about 5 hours to recharge the battery, and they were nowhere near empty. So I can imagine if it was absolutely empty and you plugged it into my 32 amp outlet, which will charge the Nissan Leaf in 3 hours if it's empty, it would take this car would take, say, 12 or 14 hours to charge completely from flat to full. But the supercharger that Tesla use, that they've installed all over America and they are installing all over Europe now, and they will install here, the supercharger will charge this car from virtually empty to 80% in 20 minutes. What do you do with the batteries when they're worn out? And I think that's a perfectly legitimate question, because it's what do we do with the batteries in our phones and laptops and video cameras and all those things, because those do wear out. Well, these batteries have such a long life in the car, they'll probably outlast the car for a start, but even after that, so just picture for a minute, this is an 85 kilowatt hour battery. Say this car's done 250,000 miles in a few years' time, and that battery capacity has dropped right down to, say, 60 kilowatt hours. 60 kilowatt hours is enough to run a house for 2 or 3 days without anything else. You could run a large house with lots of kids, tellies, washing machines, lights, all that stuff you could run on a 60 kilowatt hour battery. So you take that battery pack and you reconfigure it into a box that sits in your outside your loo or somewhere, and your solar panels charge those batteries really slowly over many years. Now they will last for years and years at that, because the strain on those batteries is absolutely minimal. They charge really slowly and they release the power very slowly. So you're looking at this battery pack in this car that could easily be useful and you know, vitally important to the larger infrastructure of our society for 15, 20 years. And after that, the materials in them are still valuable. You're not going to throw them away, but you might then recycle them. You might then use a lot of energy to recycle all the materials in the battery. And everyone I've spoken to about this who works in this area, they're talking 95, 96% of everything in this battery pack that I'm sitting on top of now can be reused. That is remarkable. I just want to remind you that when you buy a gallon of petrol, you can't use it twice.
Let's go, let's go.